G'day everyone, welcome to this week's trade plans on the fly. So you guys seem to like this when I'm just rambling about what my plans are for the week, upcoming weeks, as they come to me really. So I haven't done too much thought, just went through my loop options, gone through and reread some of Barry Tui's tweets, make sure nothing new has come out. He did release a column, but it's like $140 for the year, and I'm not doing that just for one article. They're chasing Talon de Silva, which we knew. It sounds like they're not the favourites. Eels are the favourites at this point, so Brailey's still a good option. Not concerned about that. Yeah, Crossland is playing big minutes at lock. So yeah, I'm still really keen on Jaden Brailey. I think his scoring potential is a lot better than Latu Fainu's in the short term and potentially long term as well. His cash generation should be faster. Yeah, I am sold on him, essentially. No surprises there. I'm putting my money where my mouth is. I've talked about him in a couple of videos this week, so I'm going to do it. Thing is, it is a little bit of an uncomfortable week, just like last week with trades. I don't really have anyone I want to trade out apart from Fletcher Sharp, but my hands are sort of tied. I had $0 in the bank prior to any trades this week, and obviously I want Kirez for Sharp, so lock these two in. Speaking of Brailey, Crossland is actually a pretty decent option as well. Barry Tui also said Crossland's looking at a big minute lock role. We knew a couple of weeks ago that they were targeting him to play lock next year, but he's played 80 minutes in back-to-back games. And look at that base. That is incredible. So yeah, I think he's an option as well. I do prefer Brailey just because he has more historical data. We have no history of Crossland at lock before. He's only played the 2 games. His history playing 80 minutes at hooker is good, but he's also 140k more. I'm obviously not getting both because firstly, it's like double jeopardy. If the roles change, then I'm just fucked on both. But also they both don't play round 18. If they did, sure. If this was round 12, sure. But yeah, at this stage, one or the other, and I think I just want to do Brailey. I could probably convince myself to go Crossland instead, but definitely not. So yeah, Brailey's the one coming in. So it'll be Hosking to Brailey and Fletcher Sharp to Kirez. So yeah, I can't even afford Sharp to Kirez on its own, but I want Brailey in either way. Has to be for Hosking, unfortunately. Really the only ones I have to trade are Hosking, Hines, and that's it. Tallis Duncan, sure, it's a bit early. He plays round 18, even though I'm not going to use him in round 18. So he actually would be an appealing trade out if he hadn't been so damn good. And I like watching him, but yeah, they play in the last game next round, so I can't loop him. Chances are I'm not going to play him. I have a full mid-range edge of guns. I won't need to score unless someone gets injured, most likely. Hosking plays earlier in the round, so he would have been more interesting because I do actually expect Koloamatangi to make Origin. So currently, I may as well jump there before I talk about it. But yeah, currently I have Koloamatangi, May, Tarpane, Couchman and Aitken filling out my mid and edge. And then I've got Duncan and Hosking for next round on the bench. So yeah, at the moment, Hosking and Duncan are guys I can trade for sure. Duncan obviously has a lower break even, is going better. Hosking has been underperforming, but Hudson Young's out this week. I don't think he necessarily plays 80, but I don't think he's that bad. I think he's actually a little bit underpriced still. Nothing's really changed from the time I bought him in, apart from a few weeks of poor scoring, but yeah, I still like his potential. It's just one that has to go, unfortunately. I don't think I'll be playing Duncan next week unless Koloamatangi makes Origin. And if he makes it, I would have liked to see what Hosking scores and then potentially taken that, whereas now I'm just going to be forced into playing Duncan. I'm not going to make a mid-round upgrade unless someone like a Tarpane, Couchman, 8 can get injured, you know what I mean? But I'm going to be stuck taking Duncan's score, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I could have gone Hosking. If I keep Hosking, I could see what he scores and then take that over Duncan and then maybe move Duncan on for someone else. So, yeah, I would have liked that flexibility, but I don't really have it. Like I said, the other option is Hines, but I have no backup half. So I could go Hines to Brailey instead. That's fine. Well, it's not fine because I don't have another half. Then I could go Hosking to Latu Fainu as my third trade, which is fine. But then I'm not playing Latu Fainu this week. And then, what was the other thing? Then I'm still trading Hosking anyway. So it doesn't actually work for me. There's no way I can do it. The only way I can do it is by trading Campbell. And I'm not necessarily against it, but it doesn't really work for me too much. I haven't even looked into this, so I'm just going to do this one on the fly. But I actually do want to keep Hines as well. the Sharks have been shit, right? And Hines has been shit. But he's had a diminished role when Trindle's been taken over and they've been losing games. In the first half, he kicked for like 200 metres last game and they were winning. And yeah, I didn't watch the first half, so I don't know if he was controlling the game. I'm just looking at like box score watching really. But yeah, like he was commanding the ball more from what I'm looking at the stats. So, and they were winning. So maybe that trend continues. They do have the Storm this week, which isn't great. But yeah, I think he has upside. He's so cheap now. Like he's literally the same price as Hughes. And we've just bought in Hughes because he was underpriced. So yeah, I don't know. I do want to keep Hines, but I think like keep Hines long term, sorry, but yeah, I don't think it's going to be an option. So he's probably one that gets upgraded. So I don't know. Like I don't think I can get Latu Fainu. Jaden Campbell's got a 90 break even. So like let's say he scores his average. He's only losing like 30k, so that's pretty gross. Yeah, I don't know. Like I have a pretty set plan of how I'm getting there. So I'm leaning towards option 1 now, which is just the 2 trades. Yeah, so I can get to my final team by like round 20 with still having 2 trades left. So if I did it for Campbell instead, like because Cook could easily be a keeper, right? So I could just keep him instead of Watson and that's a trade saved and then I could go Campbell out this week instead. I don't even know what it would look like. And is it what, like if Koloamatangi doesn't make Origin next week, then I've just traded Campbell for nothing. Or even if Hosking scores badly next week, I've traded him for nothing. So it's such a 50-50. Keeping Campbell is the right thing to do in almost every circumstance. For any team, including mine, most likely. But I'm chasing points here. Like I'm not chasing saving trades. I've got more than the average. I've got 10 coming into this round. Most people have 6 to 7. So yeah, there is an option where I do make that. But like round 18, I do want to make some mid-round upgrades as well. Like this is my 2 trades at the moment. So I have 13 already plus Tallis Duncan on the bench. So yeah, chances are he won't play, but I have 13 if Koloamatangi makes Origin. Jed Stewart's in my 13, right? So I essentially have 12. I'm going to have to make a mid-round upgrade, which is fine. Like, I don't know what I'll do, but probably someone like a Turbo or something like that. Maybe like, it'll probably be Hines to Turbo next week, which does work out. What was it? I can't remember who it was, but there was some... Tallis Duncan to Turbo, I think, because... Yeah, if I'm not playing Tallis Duncan, unless he scores like a 50 plus this week again, I can just go Tallis Duncan if I'm not playing him to Turbo, or I can do a Hines to Turbo, anyone. But yeah, it'll probably be Turbo just because he plays in the last game. I would like Walsh, and I might just do that, but he plays before Jed Stewart, so there could be a possibility where I don't even need Walsh. So let's say Walsh scores a 50, Jed Stewart scores a 35. I'm obviously going to take Walsh's 50 first, but if Turbo scores a 40, I don't know. I can't do the maths. Like, obviously, that's simple maths, but I'm saying like trying to work out which is the better option mathematically. I don't know. It's tough. This is just me rambling now, but I think like I want to have the room, like the trades in the bank for next week for upgrades. Like there's absolutely a winger fullback, or no, it can't even be a centre because Kirez plays first. It'll have to be a winger fullback that comes in mid-round next week, assuming Jed Stewart scores badly, and I'm going to have to make that assumption. So that's one trade at least that isn't working towards my final team, because what keepers are actually playing after that? So you've got Pappy, who I don't really want as a keeper. Roosters have no one because I've got Teddy. Tigers don't have anyone. Manly, yeah, they don't have anyone. Rabbitohs, Latrell's out. So, yeah, there's no keepers I can bring in. So I'm going to have to, if Jed Stewart scores poorly next week, I'm going to have to make at least one trade that isn't towards my final team. And as you saw, my final team would leave me with 2 trades before we get our round 20 trades. So essentially I'll have one. And then if anyone else scores badly, like if Garrick scores badly on the wing, if Savala scores badly, any of these guys, I want to have the flexibility to be able to loop them. So I don't know if trading Campbell is the right option. Trading Campbell is literally using 2 trades for no reason. Well, not no reason, but like I'm committing to using 2 trades because I have to bring him back in. So is that worth it? No. So I think I'm just going to bite the bullet with Hosking. Hopefully things work out, like Koloamatangi misses Origin or Hosking scores badly next week. if Hosking scores well this week, it doesn't really affect me. It's just next week that is the main issue. So yeah, I think I'm going to stick with these two. I don't think I'm going to get Latu. Okay, so obviously I want Brailey because I think Barry Tui's said he's playing this role long term, and we know he averages 50. So I'm expecting him to score 50 every week that he's in that role. Or that's what his average is going to be, right? So he's fine. Even if he only has that role for 2-3 weeks, he'll make his 100K. I would have played him in a couple of weeks because he is essentially a keeper in that role. So that's fine. Latu Fainu, if he scores a 50 next week, if he scores a 50 this week and I don't pick him up this week, that's fine. It's annoying, but I'll have that extra data to say, yeah, I do want this guy, and I'll forfeit 42K or whatever, but I know he'll be an option. Whereas if he scores a 20, 30, 35 this week, then I have the choice to pick him up again. So even if he scores a 35, I'm only losing 25K, and then I can reassess. If he kicked for 300 meters and scored a 35 and had 20 tackles, and sure, I want him. But if he got a 35 with 2 try assists, didn't kick, missed 7 tackles, then I'm happy to miss him. But yeah, Brailey is a now or never kind of pick. Latu Fainu, worst case, he scores massive, and I just pick him up a little bit extra because I wasn't going to play him this week anyway. Or I'd probably have to play him, but I would use him as a loop, so it's not detrimental to my team. Whereas Brailey, I know his scoring potential is good, and he should score well, so it's fine to get him and score and use him as a scorer. I don't have any loop options this week, even though I've set my team up with safety loops. I think my only loop option would be Jed Stewart, but that's fine. So Tedesco's in winger fullback. I've got Garrick as a safety loop. If he scores badly, then I got to reassess some things, and then maybe Hines is. I don't know. It'll probably have to be Jaden Campbell at that point, or I just take Jed Stewart's score. So Garrick plays in the second game. If he scores badly, either I take Jed Stewart, which is gross or I reassess and make a mid-round trade, which I don't really want to do because, yeah, like I said, there's not many options I can trade out, but I can think of that during the round. So hopefully Garrick scores well. I would do it for Drinky instead of Garrick, more likely, but they play in the last game, so that's useless. And I'd rather do it for someone who plays before Jed, I guess. Would I? Well, yeah, Kirez plays before Jed anyway, so yeah, that's all I can do really, yeah. Because if Jed scores like a 40, then I've got a position where I might not play Drinkwater. I had that decision, and then I can't get Jed's 40 anyway. So yeah, I think I do want to do it for Garrick. So yeah, that's fine. Hopefully he scores well. The one time I actually want my loop option to score well is this round, so he'll probably pump out a 15. Yeah, that's fine. That is a loop in winger fullback. Then the rest, I've got 2 guys not playing. So Jaden Brailey and Duncan will effectively come in. So I'm not looping. It's not either or. It's both of them. But I'm trying to think down here if I can do anything. Yeah. Should I set that up? I might have to set that up differently, actually, if I want to potentially take Jed Stewart as a normal. But yeah, essentially these guys will both be coming in for them. But if they score badly, I'm happy to make some mid-round trades again to facilitate them, and that would be Campbell. And that one I'm more comfortable making, whereas I can get any position. Whereas if I'm doing it for Garrick, then I have to get a winger fullback, which I don't really like any of the options. And at that point, it's probably going to be Latrell or something like that, just to get the points on the board this week. But yeah, that's fine. Hopefully, Brailey and Duncan both score well. They both play early enough, like in the 3rd and 6th game, where there will be options here that I can do if I need to. But yeah, essentially they're the 3rd and 4th interchange at the moment. What else was I going to say? Oh yeah, I actually think Brailey is a better option this week than Cook to score well. I think Cook has the lower floor just in case he moves to centre or something. But since he's more popular, I'd rather just play him and then loop Brailey because not many people are going to have Brailey, right? So if he scores badly, then I'm screwed. If he gets a 10, 20, I'm the only one who gets that score. Whereas if he scores badly, yeah, I've traded him in, but it's fine because I'm not taking a score. So yeah, I'd rather do it that way. I could do Tallis Duncan over Cook, but I think Tallis Duncan has the same floor as Cook. So yeah, I'm happy to do it this way. Yeah, Cook's owned by 50%, 30%, whatever, that's fine. So yeah, I think that's the way I'm going to roll. Hines is on the chopping block, but yeah, I don't have the ability to loop Latu Fainu at this stage. into the halves position without trading, like before trading Hines. So yeah, I think I'm just going to have to do these two at the moment, and then potentially some mid-round trades. Don't really know. Yeah, it's an uncomfortable one. This is like the last week where there are going to be uncomfortable trades. Next week, I know, like what I'm doing, I want those mid-round trades. Like bringing in Tommy Turbo is pretty uncomfortable, but it's one I know I'm going to make because if Jed Stewart scores badly, so something like that is fine. But like I'll have options that I actually want to trade out. Right now, it's Hosking or Hines, who I know have the upside, and I don't really want to trade them. There's no real downside, but just the moves have to be made. So I think this is the most annoying round, as including last round. Like both of these, it has been like an annoying period for trades, but hopefully it come out of it all right. Just hope Latu Fainu doesn't do too well. If you bring him in, I hope he gets like a big score. But in terms of my team, since I'm not bringing him in most likely, I need him to get somewhere lower than a 40 really to justify it. But yeah, it is what it is either way. I'm really well set up in round 18. I've got 9 keepers there. Jed Stewart's the only question mark really. So don't know what I want to do, but I think that's all good. I'll captain May. I will put the vice captain on Payne Haas. I don't know. Like there's a chance he somehow gets ruled out late, but since he played last week, I think it's okay. It would be super annoying, but the Tigers play second and not tonight. So like I could just do a vice captain on anyone, but I think I will do it on Haas just in case May's out, but that's fine. That's my team for the round, I think, but pending some mid-round scores. Got to fade some Cleary tonight. How heavily owned is Cleary now? I think it's still like 70% or something, hey? Let's have a look. Yeah, 65-ish%. So yeah, I'm going to have to fade him tonight, but Kirez comes in, so that'll be a fun watch. I assume like 40% of people in the top 1,000 will bring him in. Yeah, should be a fun game either way. Hopefully the doggies get up. In terms of fantasy, it probably works out better. And yeah, enjoy this weekend, guys. I'll have a video out after the game tonight because obviously working early tomorrow, so that one will be out about 10 p.m. tonight or 10:30 because that's a pretty late game. But until then, we'll see you next time and good luck with your trades. Bye.